Craig Masbach is with us as you look at the Pepsi Top Shot here at Husky Stadium. And Craig, the American team of Mike Marsh, Darren Council, Andrea Kaysen, and Dennis Mitchell, we would have, and a lot of people would expect it, that would be Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell and Witherspoon. Let's talk about the team that's here.
Well, in our national championships, of course, Witherspoon and Carl Lewis were at the top of the ranks. The three guys you mentioned were 1, 2, 3 here at the Goodwill Games. If you want to put your best guys on the track, those would have been 3 of the 4, and you would have chosen one of these other guys. Dennis Mitchell was 4th in the 100 meters here. He might have been the 4th guy. Now, what happens? Santa Monica Track Club wanted to run their own relay here. They said, we're ready to set the world record. We'd like to do it for the Goodwill Games audience. The officials said, no, we won't let you run. If you want to run, you must run as part of a national team, the U.S. team. Santa Monica Track Club said under those circumstances, we'll save ourselves. We're all tired. We're going to go to New York on Sunday for the New York Games. We're going to set the world record there.
You're looking at Darren Council, who run the second leg for the United States. The lane assignments will have Nigeria in lane 3, Cuba in 4, Soviet Union in 5, U.S. will be in lane 6, Jamaica in 7, and Canada in lane 8. Let's talk about who might threaten the United States in this particular event.
Well, always a threat is the Soviet Union. When the United States was disqualified in 1988, it was the Soviets that took advantage. And one reason is because the Soviets are great relay handoff specialists. Now look at the personal best. Those are the personal bests of each of the runners for each of the 2 teams. The United States on paper here has a 0.35 second advantage. But during the history of relay baton handoffs, the U.S. has normally only been able to pass about 2 seconds or 2.2 seconds faster than the addition of their personal best, whereas the Soviets can pass up to 3 seconds faster than their personal best. What does that mean? It means that the U.S. team needs a cushion of about 0.5 of a second to beat the Soviets. They don't have that much here.
Well, that'll be something interesting to watch. Remember, this is the 4x100 relay, and it takes under 38 seconds if you're going to set a record. The Nigerian team will be in lane 3, and a pretty good team themselves. Adefeya will be the leadoff runner. Osman Ezwina in the second leg. The third leg will be run by Victor Nwanko, and Davidson Ezinwa, will run the anchor leg.
The Ezinwa brothers, the last 3 members of that team, were part of the Commonwealth Games team that got second last January for you. They also run for Mount San Antonio College in California. So those guys are excellent sprinters. They're at a bit of a disadvantage in being in lane 3. It's a little bit of a tighter turn there.
Now, in lane 7 will be the team from Jamaica. Their first runner will be Wayne Watson, who wears number 365. Second leg will be run by John Mayer. Michael Green, the third leg, and the anchor is Patrick Williams.
Not one of their best teams, and like the United States, they don't have a chance to practice baton handoffs very much because most of these athletes are in universities in the United States at different places. And I'm worried about the U.S. baton handoffs. Coach Dean Hayes has said that the team has only practiced handoffs twice, and that for that reason they're going to do what they call safe handoffs, very non-risky handoffs. To me, that means slow handoffs, and that means that that Soviet team that practices together week after week, month after month, is going to have a big advantage.
The Soviets have Brizgin, Krylov, Fatun, and Galkin, their runners.
And that's also an important bit of strategy on the part of the Soviet Union. They have put their 2 best sprinters in the first 2 legs, and what they're trying to do there is to get out ahead so that not only will the United States have to worry about the fact that, hey, our handoffs are a little bit slow, we haven't practiced them, that they're going to have to rush them to try to keep up with the Soviets.
Talking about Victor Brizgin and Vladimir Krylov, and Oleg Fatun is the third leg. The anchor is Pavel Galkin. Remember, this is the 4x100. It is literally 1 lap around this track, and it is blazingly fast. You hear cheering in the background, of course, the high jump competition continuing. We'll keep you updated on that throughout the evening also, and the triple jump also is underway here as we have a busy evening.
Well, the crowd doesn't know quite where to look. It's sort of the 3-ring circus aspect of track and field. But the thing about the 4x100 meter relay that's interesting, when you run 100 meters, of course, it looks like they're going all out and just tearing up the track. But really, when you run 100 meters, you want what's called studied relaxation. You want to relax and let your speed come out. You can't do that in this relay. You have to just claw the track, get around the track, get the baton to the next man, and then you really lose some of that relaxation aspect.
Let's talk about the significance of the lane assignments. In lane 3 will be Nigeria, 4 Cuba, Soviet Union, United States in lanes 5 and 6, Jamaica 7, and Canada in 8.
Well, I think that normally you'd say that the United States is good out in lane 6. It's a more gentle turn, but they won't be able to see the Soviets. In fact, if they do see the Soviets, they're in big trouble, and that's one reason why the Soviets may have put their 2 best guys on the first 2 legs. If they get ahead of the United States, in other words, make up that stagger, they're going to be in the driver's seat.
So the first two men were the ones who ran the legs on the gold medal winning team for the Soviets, as Greg pointed out, in the Soviet Union. You see there in lane 8 on the left of your screen is the Canadian first runner in Wani, Cyprian in Wani. The leadoff runner from the Soviet Union, Victor Briezgin. The leadoff for the United States, Mike Marsh. Briezgin in 5. Marsh will be in lane 6. The 4x100 relay from Husky Stadium. That cheer for the triple jump competition. And we have a false start in the 4x100.
And it may be the Canadian runner that said, hey, all of that noise, all of the excitement for the triple jump, I can't hear the starter's commands. I don't want to be called for a false start because the crowd is making so much noise. And normally the public address announcer would ask the crowd to be quiet for the start of a sprint race. Obviously here there's so many things going on, high jump, triple jump, at the same time that this race is starting. It's not possible to do that.
Well, that's the good in the news as you look at Mike Marsh for the United States, the runner of the first leg. The good news is that the track crowds out here have been tremendous. The Monday night crowd was the second largest in the United States this year, second only to the Penn Relays crowd, and it looks like we have another 25 to 28,000 group here tonight to watch these relays. So the noise is, I guess the athletes would rather have some noise and have this kind of attendance.
Well, some of the athletes have said that it's actually made them more nervous than they would normally be. They're not used to this kind of crowd, sort of crowd you'd see at an Olympics or a World Championship. Good experience for an athlete like Mike Marsh, who, by the way, does Santa Monica Track Club.
Mike Marsh in lane 6. It's a good start. The Monday night crowd was the second largest in the United States this year, second only to the Penn Relays crowd, and it looks like we have another 25 to 28,000 group here tonight to watch these relays. So the noise is, I guess the athletes would rather have some noise and have this kind of attendance.
Well, some of the athletes have said that it's actually made them more nervous than they would normally be. They're not used to this kind of crowd, sort of crowd you'd see at an Olympics or a World Championship. Good experience for an athlete like Mike Marsh, who, by the way, does run for the Santa Monica Track Club.
Mike Marsh in lane 6. It's a good start. The first 100 meters of the 4x100. Briezgin and Mike Marsh.
Marsh is out very, very well. He's holding the distance on Briezgin. And the U.S. had a good handoff. No advantage to the Soviets on that one.
Darren Council for the United States. Vladimir Krylov for the Soviets on the second leg of the 100. And Leandro Penalver of Cuba also running well.
Cuba looks very, very good on the inside. Council ran a good leg, but the U.S. is going to need a margin.
Here comes Cuba and the United States. Dennis Mitchell, Joel Isasi. Mitchell, Isasi. Is Cuba going to pull the upset? Mitchell and Isasi at the wire. Oh, it's close. It looked like Mitchell got him, but did he get in front by the time they crossed the line?
The Cubans think they've won, and Dennis Mitchell thinks he's won, and that was a pressure performance by Dennis Mitchell, the guy who grew up racing on the streets in Willingboro, New Jersey. His father used to put the kids out in the street to see who could run first to the telephone poles. He was coached in the early days by Carl Lewis's parents, Bill and Evelyn, on the Willingboro Track Club. Now the Cubans are still celebrating, but it looked to me as if Dennis Mitchell timed his lean just right.
Dennis Mitchell had to come from behind. He was trying to catch Joel Isasi of Cuba, and the only question was whether or not Dennis Mitchell got him at the tape or just past the tape. But everyone seems to feel that it was Dennis Mitchell who got the victory for the United States. A come-from-behind win and a blazingly fast event. It brings everybody to their feet here. Here's the first handoff, Greg.
And this is the one that I thought went well for the United States. You see them up towards the top of the screen. Good extension right through the relay zone. That's what you want, is for the baton to move at top speed. You don't want anyone to have to slow down. Darren Council, the sheriff from Gainesville, Florida, ran a very good backstretch for the United States. It was around the third turn on the third leg that Andre Kaysen, who's a good relay performer, seemed to be caught by the Cubans. Now, here comes the last handoff. Kaysen was caught by the Cubans all the way over on the right there. Now, Joel Isasi is more of an indoor specialist. That means he's good at running 60 meters, and that's really what happened here. He had a good lead coming down the home stretch. Over on the left, though, Dennis Mitchell, a pressure performer, the guy who did it all for the University of Florida. He's an aggressive runner, and I think he got the lean there that got him the victory.
It was very close, and Pavel Galkin, number 133, the Soviet anchor. And yes, it was. You see the cheers.
Well, the crowd is reacting to the replay board, the large screen television. The U.S. athletes clearly thinking that they've done it. Obviously, the photo timing equipment will make the final determination.
Still waiting for that official word. The United States has already started celebrating with their flowers, but we have not received the final word on whether or not it was Dennis Mitchell who went across that tape first yet.
Hey, lots of credit to these guys. As we said before, they were clearly the underdogs based on the fact that they, and now it's official, unofficial still as the crowd again reacts to the replay board.
So, Larry, we're still waiting here to get the official word. It appears as if Dennis Mitchell and the U.S. has won the 4x100 relay. We'll let you know as soon as the photos have been studied.
We wait with somewhat bated breath for the official results. Out to Husky Stadium. Bob Neal, is it official?
It is, in fact, Larry, the United States has won the 4x100 relay. Mike Marsh, Darren Council, Andre Kaysen, and Dennis Mitchell in a time of 38:45. And, Craig, it couldn't have been any closer. A stirring performance by the Cuban runners.
Well, the Cuban runners have the same advantage that the Soviets have. They hand off together in practice every day. But, hey, all credit to the American team. They got the baton around, and Dennis Mitchell ran a great anchor leg.
All four of the members of the American team are with Dave Sims.
All right, Bob, thank you. Winners of the 4x1, and got to go to Dennis Mitchell. What did you think coming down the stretch? It was really close with Cuba.
Well, coming down the straightaway, I just want to stay as relaxed as possible and try to accelerate through the line. Cuba surprised us a little bit coming up on the inside, and I didn't see him till I, came up and got my posture up right. So I just try to stay relaxed and just go through the line.
The fact that you guys didn't get a chance a lot to work out the handoffs. What did you think of the handoffs, Darren?
Handoffs was pretty good. Like I said, we never had really much time to get a good handoff, and I was pleased with the way the race turned out.
You guys got to feel good in light of what happened, in light of what happened in Seoul. You get the victory today.
Yeah, we're happy for the victory. They're still hanging the incident that happened in Seoul over the United States head, and that was in '88. We're four fresh new guys, and we're the mainstay of the United States in track and field.
Guys, congratulations. Let's get back to Bob Neal.
Thank you. The winning time, 38:45, the United States. Cuba right neck and neck at 38:49. The Soviets were third at 38:96.